Welcome to All Things Social Security. My name is Stephanie Joy of Joy Disability. I am a Social Security disability attorney, and I would like to invite you to watch our daily video tips on the Social Security disability and SSI claims process each day at the new time of noon Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube on this channel. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our live Q&A live stream. So you are welcome to join that as well. Ask your questions, get there on time, and you'll be one of the first answered. Thanks so much and have a great day. Enjoy the video. Hey, good morning. It is Social Security Roundup for the week of, dun, 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 looks like July 7th through, my goodness, let's see, Saturday the 12th? Is that where we're at already? Yeah, I guess it's the 13th today. Okay, and that was the post Independence Day weekend week. Hope everyone survived the weekend before that. Okay, let's see. Monday, this would be July 7th. This was a tip about the power that a verbal rent agreement can have on your SSI benefit amount. So even though you don't have it in writing, when you made it with your parent or your landlord or whoever, the verbal agreement can hold water. So pay attention to that if you're on SSI. This does not count for Social Security disability. You're not under those same constraints. On the 8th, this was about overpayment waivers. I believe it was a Q&A section from our prior live Q&A live stream on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And this was a question about if I have an overpayment and now I have another SSD claim pending, maybe it could be an expedited reinstatement, I don't know, or just another term of disability one's claiming, but they already have its existing overpayment. When's the best time to ask for the waiver of that prior overpayment based on, financial hardship? So we touch on that. It's not really ironclad. However, all right, moving on July 9th, this was about early retirement while filing for Social Security disability and what to be cautious about and take note of before you make your decision. It's really important to have your information in front of you instead of just going, trigger happy on filing. You might not be wanting to do that, or you might be, but you need to know. July 10th. This was about another Q&A. They generally are going to always have an attached video to them. The Q&A touches on something, and then we grab it, and then we show what we were previously talking about with that. So on a SSDI denial that took 14 months in the making, the question was, does the SSA then plan to reduce the appeal time because you were stuck with a 14-month decision? And we go into whether that is so or not. Friday, of course, this was July 11th, Friday Fraud Law Review. This one was fascinating. It was a couple of United States Postal Service employees. Obviously, they're former employees now. They were charged with stealing. You're going to hit your gourd on this one. $80 million in U.S. Treasury checks in a massive scheme. And as you probably know, U.S. Treasury checks come out for a variety of reasons, including, if I recall, IRS tax refunds, as well as Social Security funds. Now, I know we're all used to direct deposit, but I'm an old dog. And when I started, we all got checks. As an attorney rep, I got a check when I got paid my fee from the U.S. Treasury, and the claimants received checks in the mail. Can you imagine how archaic? Just saying. Okay, that was Friday. And then Saturday, last day of the week, at least as per us here, this was about knowing and taking care of your self-employment hours. If you're working self-employed while you're on Social Security disability insurance benefits, or you are fighting a claim for them, you really need to keep track of your self-employed hours. And I would say that would apply to SSI also. I mean, they have a lot more to think about, but that's not one to knock off their plate just because they have other things to think about. So for SSI and SSDI, when you're self-employed, your hours you really need to pay close attention to. It is a little different than W-2, which has a little bit easier in that regard. Okay, so that was our week, guys. I hope you all had an excellent week. I hope you had decent weather. We've had some immense trauma down in our beloved Texas. So thoughts and prayers are there and have been since all that went down. I hope everybody's safe, and I hope we're having gratitude if we're all safe up here. So I hope to see you guys at 12 noon dailies for the daily shares that come out, a bit ad hoc. Sometimes the workday, boom, it's interrupted in the middle of a day for something that came up that just can't wait. And sometimes it is something that can wait, but we're putting out just to have it out on a daily basis. And of course, our weekly live streams at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's open to the public. It is free, and you can come ask your Social Security questions in the chat room, and it's a first come, first serve basis. So if you get there on time, you will undoubtedly have your question answered. Undoubtedly. Okay. Not to mention, I would not leave until I had you covered if you came there early. Haven't done it yet, but I might drop out if very late comers, and they've done this, pop in a question at the end, and sometimes I've dragged myself back in to do it. But no, it depends on I suppose, my level of energy that day. All right, guys, have a great week. I hope to see you soon. It's still Sunday. Did you miss last week's Social Security roundup? Not this week that you just heard, but the one prior to that, and want to catch up? I'm attaching it now. Have a great day. Bye. Good morning. Happy Sunday. All things Social Security. Here's the roundup for the last week. This will be from Monday, the 30th of June, 2025, until Saturday, July 5th. So it was and still is actually, our Independence Day weekend. It was a crazy time up here. A lot of fun, but a little crazy. Okay, so we came out on Monday with a video share about the different areas of Social Security disability garnishment that can occur. We know there's a lot of protections against garnishment of your Social Security, but there are some areas that are not so protected by design. That was a purposeful carve out of the protections. So we go into that a little bit on Monday. That was the 30th. On Tuesday, this is a bit of a cautionary tale. Why there are times when an adjudicator calls a represented claimant directly and circumvents the attorney or the non-attorney rep. I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts on that and the inappropriate nature of that by and large, unless they've been given permission from the representative. On July 2nd, we went over a little bit of what your mental health therapist role is and what wordage they may or may not use in your records, and or if you ask them for a report or what have you, and some of the pros and cons that go along with that. So you might want to take a listen if you have a mental health component to your case. July 3rd, this was, oh yeah, okay, this must have been Thursday, because Wednesday, aside from our daily share, the live Q&A session went on at 1 p.m. Wednesday Eastern Standard Time. That was a bunch of fun. I had Shanna Justice with me that day. And Thursday is the quote unquote shortened up replay. When I say shortened up, I just mean those blank silences where we're trying to read a post and maybe the person's follow-up post so we can get them the answer to the question. So we just try to get those all stripped out of there for the replay so no one has to sit through that if they're going to watch the replay. July 4th, Independence Day. That was Friday. This was, discussing a Social Security Administration announcement about what came out in the new big bill that was finally passed. Good, bad, and ugly. Some good, some bad, as it typically is when they're all trying to compromise and get something passed, and how the positive is entirely favorable to Social Security benefits and reduced taxation of them, although I don't think it went as far as what perhaps the current presidential administration wanted. But again, you take your compromises as you get them and you keep fighting for the rest of it. That was the 4th. And then on the 5th, Saturday, this is a share about a particular section of the grid that would apply to a 54-year-old, because I think it was a 54-year-old that brought it up, avoiding the importance of avoiding a light RFC, residual functional capacity. So that was just probably a Q&A. I'm thinking, I don't even recall. Yeah, it was from a Q&A. It was a clip from a live stream on this particular subject. And there's probably an additional video attached that helps explain more about that was previously made. Okay, so that's all she wrote for that week, guys. I hope you had a good one. I hope you had a great holiday. It was beautiful weather, so we kind of lucked out, I think. And I hope to see you every day at 12 noon if you can join for a daily video share. And Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, We have a weekly Q&A, sometimes with someone joining, sometimes not. And I look forward to seeing you. Take care now. If you have any questions, feel free to show up there. Talk to you later.